Welcome to Budget Beauty, where I help you look flawless for less. Welcome back, and a very special welcome if you're new here. My name is Jen, and this is Budget Beauty. We do everything beauty on a budget, and that includes tutorials, first impressions, and reviews of brand new eyeshadow palettes. I am so excited for today's tutorial and review of the brand new Shroud Cosmetics Moonfall Palette. As soon as this palette was sneak peeked, I said add to cart. I knew I needed to have it, and the minute it was released, I picked it up before it sold out. Now I know that they were restocking this, so I'll link all the information for the Moonfall Palette down below for you. So we're going to test this out, create an eye look. I'll give you my first impression, review, and of course a tutorial. So if you're excited, give this video a big, huge thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not, because I upload lots and lots of new videos every single week. I will link the Moonfall palette down below for you with a discount code, as well as all of my favorite beauty boxes, all of the other makeup that I'm wearing in today's video if you would like to recreate this look. And don't forget to come on over, follow me on TikTok for a little bit more beauty on a budget. So let's review and test out Shroud Cosmetics Moonfall Palette. Like I said, the minute I saw this, I knew it needed to come into my collection. It is such a beautiful kind of grungy color story. There was a little card that came with the palette, so I'll read to you what's on the back of this while I insert close-ups of the palette and swatches for you. It says, our Moonfall singles have been so incredibly popular that we knew we had to put them into a full 9-pan eyeshadow palette. The Moonfall palette contains two brand new eyeshadows, Rebirth, a rich deep navy matte, and Devotion, a super sparkly lavender with an intense gold to green to blue sparkling shift. We have also revamped our existing Moonfall shimmers. Soulstone now features a more intense magenta base with a shimmering bronze gold shift. Artifact now features a more intense golden olive base with a gold to green to indigo shift. And Night Song now features a more intense blue base with a sparkling purple shift. We hope you adored this new addition to the Moonfall family, and we cannot wait to see all the beautiful looks you create with it. And then there's a little side note down here and says the larger shimmer particles in Devotion, let's see what shade Devotion was. Okay, Devotion is that lavender sparkly kind of purple shade, may cause some fallout. So we suggest using a sticky base, tapping excess product off your brush, and using a patting motion to apply to minimize fallout. So we're definitely going to test out Devotion, and I always use a glitter primer, so I am super excited to try this out. So let me zoom you in and let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to do, as always, is prime my eyes with my MAC paint pot in Painterly. I always use an eyeshadow base, especially when I have a little warning about fallout with shimmers. It really just helps enhance the actual color of the shimmer, prevents any creasing, and just keeps it in place all day. Always the hardest part for me is deciding what look I want to do. I really want to use every shade in here, and I know that we probably can't do that in the look. So it's just deciding if I want a more colorful look. We have quite a few green shades in the palette, but I feel like I want to use some of the different colors to see how they perform. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the shade Sentinel, which is this kind of teal shade down in the corner. I'm actually going to pick that up on a big fluffy brush, and I'm going to use that as my crease shade. Ooh, that is really beautiful. It's definitely a true teal shade. What I like to do is kind of tap it in and then diffuse and blend it out. That way I get the true pigmentation, especially in the actual crease itself, and then I can kind of diffuse it out as I get closer to my brow bone. The shade is blending out beautifully. There is no fallout at all, which I very much appreciate, and it is not patchy. And sometimes with these deeper, darker shades, especially blues and purples, they can be a little bit patchy, but this is absolute perfection. And then with a little bit denser brush, I definitely want to use this shade Rebirth, which is that deep matte navy shade that they spoke about in the little card. And I'm going to apply that to the outer corner. Oh, this is so pretty. I love a good navy matte. And like I said, these deeper, darker shades, they're pretty hard to formulate. This is beautiful. It is layering so nicely. And that was one tiny tap in, and I have that much pigmentation and payoff. I'm blown away. This is so beautiful. With that same fluffy brush that I applied the shade Sentinel to my crease, I'm going to pick up this beautiful purple shade called Folklore, and I'm going to use that to blend the edges and just pop in that little bit of purple. So you can see how that gave that nice little tiny bit of purple to the look. I will say that there is a little bit of kick up in the pan with these shades, which is a good thing because that means that they are pigmented, but I'm not getting really any fallout. I mean, I have a teeny tiny bit. I have a tiny bit, but I've already set my face, so I'm just going to wipe that away. But kick up means pigmentation, so I'm always happy to see it. Now I'm going to use some of my NYX glitter glue. This is an eyeshadow primer. Just like a paint pot for an eyeshadow base, I love to use a glitter primer. Again, it prevents creasing and it also just keeps my shimmers in place, and especially because I do want to use the one they mentioned that had quite a bit of fallout. I am definitely using a glitter glue. I love the NYX. It's affordable and it works so well. Oh, the shimmers in here are so beautiful. I mean, every single one of them. I think what I'm going to do is start with the shade Night Song, which is this blue shifty to purple to gold to green, and I'm going to use my finger. I always like to show you guys shimmer application, wow, with both a finger and a brush, and I'm going to focus this on the outer portion of my lid near that deep navy shade. Oh, wow. Wow, do you see how pretty that is? Oh my goodness. It is so foiled looking. Oh, I absolutely love that shade. It's also building up really nicely, and I'm getting just a lot of shimmer and opacity with just one tiny dip into the shade. As always, I also like to use a brush for shimmer application. So I'm going to try out the shade Devotion on a dry brush. It looks like it's picking up. And then I'm going to tap that, like it said to do, on the inner portion of my lid. So pretty. Oh my goodness. So I'm not spraying my brush, and I'm just tapping, and I'm getting that to apply perfectly. I don't have any fallout. So I feel like that's the ticket. You could spray your brush with some setting spray as well if you really want to ensure that there's no fallout, but dipping it into the pan and then tapping motion seems to work perfectly. This shade Devotion is so beautiful. So beautiful with that lavender kind of shifty gold look. It looks beautiful with the blue shimmer. I'm going to pick up a tiny, teeny bit of the green shimmer called Artifact, and I'm going to kind of pop that on. I'm going to put that right in the middle. Oh, wow. Okay, that is beautiful. And that's going to just add that pretty pop of green. I mean, we can't do a look with this palette without incorporating some of the greens. And you can see that that just gave that little pop of shimmery green. So for the lower lash line, I definitely want to bring in a little bit more green. And then I think I'm going to pop in some more purple with the shade Folklore. And I'm going to just buff that on the lower lash line. Isn't that so pretty? And then buffing in with Moon Moss, the green. And then why not? Why not use all the shimmers? I'm going to use Soulstone, which is the pink shimmer. And I think I'm going to use that as my inner corner. Oh yeah, that is beautiful. Just adding that little pop of pink to the inner corner. I am absolutely, I'm loving this look. And the only shades we didn't use, actually the only shade we didn't use is Prima Dial, which is that burgundy shade. We used all the other shades in the palette. So that's pretty impressive. I'm loving the deep grunginess of this with those beautiful shimmers. So let me go ahead and put on some liner, mascara, and I'll be back to show you the final look. So here is the completed look. I am obsessed. I absolutely love this look. I want to give you my final thoughts on the Moonfall palette, but first I was going to share with you what's on my lips. So I have the Unearthly Cosmetics lip gloss in the shade Moss. This is a really pretty kind of glittery green gloss, and I know green can be a little bit intimidating, but this just gives you the most subtle green kind of shift to it, and I think it pairs beautifully with this eye look because we did pop in some of the green shades in the Moonfall palette. So what are my final thoughts on the palette? Obsessed. I love it. I am so impressed with their shimmer formula. I do have both the Batty Bean palettes, and I think this shimmer formula is even better. I mean, those palettes are amazing. Their Hollow Bean and their Batty Bean, their two Batty Bean Halloween palettes are amazing. I love them, but this is like a notch up, like a step up for the shimmer formulas. I am so happy we got to use all of the shades but the one, and I think the eye look is absolutely beautiful. It's definitely a little bit deep, dark, smoky, sultry, but I love that pop of green shimmer with that pink inner corner. I love a good colorful look. I love a good grungy look. So I am so happy I have the Moonfall palette from Shroud. I definitely have Shroud on my radar. Whenever they release something, if I'm interested, it will definitely be making its way into my collection because the formula is really good and the price point is really good for all these multi-chrome, duochrome, shifty shades from an indie brand. Really happy that I picked that up. So I will make sure everything is linked down below for you. Of course, all of the other makeup I'm wearing, my favorite beauty boxes, and then come follow me on TikTok for a little bit more beauty on a budget. Definitely pick up the Moonfall palette. If you love this look and love the color story, you will not be disappointed.